Hey everybody, Nerd Transformed here again, and today I'm reviewing the Transformers KREO Battle Changer Grimlock. Now Grimlock here is very similar to the other Battle Changers. If you want to know about KREO and all that, please go watch my Battle Changer Megatron review, as I do go into a lot of detail. But basically, KREO's their knockoff Lego, or was not really a knockoff, but a competitor to Lego. And they have, a few years ago, they teamed up with Transformers to make some various different figures. And the Battle Changers here kind of keep the transforming gimmick while actually being made out of KREO Lego blocks things. So Grimlock here is sporting his G1 style dinosaur mode, although the colors on him are more based off, even though all these are based off like G1 type characters, like each of them seem to have like an inspiration from other stuff. Like Megatron seemed to be more inspired by his Transformers Prime version. And Grimlock here seems to be somewhat inspired by his Age of Extinction Voyager color scheme, Voyager toy color scheme, because he's not all dark and gray like the actual movie Grimlock, but he is like this off yellowish orange like the Voyager Grimlock. But the transformation in the design itself for the toy is very similar to the G1. And for size comparison, here he is next to Shockwave in his robot mode, also from the Battle Changer series. And for a more common figure, here he's next to Titan's Return Cloudraker, who's a Legends class. So you can see Grimlock here is just taller than a Legends figure, which means he probably scales pretty decently with, like, say, Legends, like a Legend size Optimus Prime or something. If you want to work into those kind of figures, but let's go ahead and set these two to the side. And looking at Grimlock in this mode, he's kind of hit or miss. He is more interesting in some of the air modes. He's definitely nicer than the weird spaceship that Megatron had. And while Ironhide's vehicle mode's pretty nice, it was very kibbly. Here it's, all Grimlock. The eyes are done by using a clear KREO block, so he has that kind of light piping effect going on. So that's pretty nice. The mouth, all the parts are not like... It's not like Lego where they make specific parts to make limbs or a head. He actually is a head and arms and such built from like KREO Lego style pieces, as you can see, which is pretty nice if you like that aesthetic. I think it's pretty neat. One of my complaints is his tail back here. While it is movable with the joints, because it does form the legs. Oh, there's another complaint. We'll get that into a second. It does not peg in anywhere in it, so it just kind of sits here, kind of just sets against his back like that. And as you just saw, the panels that the arms sit on do not stay on at all and just come off at the slightest touch. And same for these little bits right here. You can already see it starting to come pegged right there. So I hate these little clips for some reason don't quite fit right and constantly want to just pop off. He also does have a sword which seems to be based on the Fall Cybertron Grimlock sword, as the sticker seems to imply that. And unfortunately, he can't really do anything with his Dino mode. I mean, you can have him hold it with his dino arms if you want. Or you can even open up his mouth and use the... Oh, and there goes his arm panel again. You see just how easy that thing pops off. But you could take the sword and pop it into his mouth and maybe pretend it's a flame or something. It looks kind of just like he has a flag pop out of his mouth. But he does have articulation in this mode if you can keep them together. And the tail together. The tail also does not peg in. It's not like Grimlock or Ironhide where they're leg pieces, two leg halves pegged together. This one's just kind of freeballing it. Not quite sure why, because if it's all pegged together, this diameter would actually be half decent. But, articulation-wise, his head is on the hinge. It doesn't go up much, but it does go down this far. And as you saw earlier, the lower mouthpiece does move, and it can actually peg into the top mouthpiece if you want, but I like to keep it open to give him like a toothy maw. But it does also work on a separate hinge. The arms do go up and down, about that far down, and can go completely back all the way around. Well, I guess they can just rotate all the way around. And they do rotate this way if you want, and they can also kind of go backwards and extend because of how they're pegged in, so you could do that. I guess you could say they go outward, but you have to start opening the flaps up, and that can be kind of weird looking. Kind of looks like he's ready to flash someone. Down here, the legs are, of course, his arm joints. They do follow the G1 transformation, so they are ball jointed. So they can go outward, and they can do a full 360. And same go for the knees. They're his elbows in robot mode, so fall forward and back, and they can rotate, and his claws can also do a little bit of movement. Like, I have to just keep them flat if you want to be able to use the somewhat heel that are his hands. And as mentioned, his tail is based on his knee joints here and his hip joints. So you can move it back and kind of make it more like this if you want to get him more in a pose like this. There's also this hinge right here, but this is meant for transformation. We can have him like kind of standing more like that if you want. Although I will say it looks a little goofy. It's kind of meant to just do the G1 style full, like, tripoding it. But yeah, as I mentioned, he's got these articulation dinosaur mode. The only thing that kind of stinks is because how he transforms, his head is kind of just right there for robot mode. They did at least try to cover it, but yeah, his head's just stick right there, and there's the chest and everything, so it can look a little odd. But let's get down to transformation. As mentioned, he is using a G1 style transformation, so tail, since it's not pegged into anything, will just come kind of be pushed down. You're going to take these little flaps that run along the back of the dino and just kind of flip them up like this, and that'll form his feet. And you can use the little ball joints to bring them up like that, and then the pieces that made the ends of the tail flip up to form shin guards like so, and there's his legs all done. As mentioned, nothing's pegging them together. Then you're going to take the dino legs to straighten them out. You're going to want to turn them around and bring them up. And you're meant to fold the claws back by fur to fold them forward to kind of give them like a clawed underhand attack kind of thing. So however you want to fold the claws, we are meant to rotate them around. The heels are now his hands. Then there's just doing this the whole top of the dinosaur just becomes back kibble, which is expected for G1 style Grimlock, but it's a little bit of a mess as you'll see. So it does come back, and you do have a double hinge you can break it back on. The arm panel is going to pop off again. You're going to have to take the arm panels and just spread them out like that. And then the dino head, it doesn't not go up any further than this, other than tucking the head in like that. So what I do is just tuck it inward just above the legs like so. And while it is still really kibbly, it at least keeps all the kibble within this kind of area. And then finally, just grab the helmet or the head, depending on which one you have moved around. Well, in my case, it looks like the head decided to spin around, even though the helmet's usually loose. So you might have to make some adjustments. Oh, there went his waist joint. Yeah, these figures don't hold it together well. But, spin around to where the visor's facing forward. Make sure you get the helmet back on right. Put his pieces back together. And there you finally have Grimlock, Battle Changer Grimlock in his robot mode. If you can get him to stand. Let's see if we can get zoom in on that. Alright, I apologize for the change in camera view, but I had to lower it in order to get a good better look at Grimlock here. So as mentioned, here is Battle Changer Grimlock in his robot mode. And we're going to get comparison out of the way. Here he is next to Battle Changer sound or Shockwaves, and he's a hair taller than Grimlock here. And here he is next to Legends Cloudraker. So you can see, once again, just a hair shorter than a Legends class. Well, more than a hair, about a head's worth. He comes up to about just under the shoulder piece here. It's going to get Shockwave out of the way too. And Grimlock in this mode does not look bad. I do wish they had gone with his G1 color scheme. The yellow and the gray and the dark gray does not look bad at all, but if we're going to do like the G1 transformation, the G1 kind of helmet style and everything, I think we should have went on for a full G1 look and give him the gray and the yellow. I mean, this orange is very reflective of the G1 Dinobot color scheme, but he needs a little bit more red, and there's just a little too much yellow. As the original Grimlock only had a little bit of yellow, mainly just the chest and around the neck in dinosaur mode. This is a lot more yellow than we're used to, so this is definitely kind of going for more of the Age of Extinction kind of colors with it. But as mentioned, he does have this sword, which is mentioned is kind of based on the Fall of Cybertron sword. You can kind of have it all the way down like this to make more of a cleaver, but from what I've seen, it's meant to be about here to kind of give it like a big Final Fantasy VII style sword. So he can hold that with the little clip hands he has, and it does look good in his hand. It definitely appears to be a rare, fearsome weapon. Although from certain directions like this, it can also make it look like a big old flag. And his shoulder piece popped off. That actually has not happened before. Excuse me one moment as I get that back on. Must have been his arm knocking it off or something. That can happen. He has a little bit of kibble issues. Mainly his entire top half of the dino. The arm flaps aren't so bad. They make his, G1 style dino wings. But the head really has nowhere to go. I wish it could fold up better in here, but it is just kind of hanging down here and does get in the way of his leg articulation a lot. And speaking of the legs, the clips aren't as troublesome here, but they will occasionally still pop off, so you do gotta watch out for those. But he does have some nice kind of side heel spurs here, so he does have a lot more balance than, say, like Megatron or Ironhide. I will give him that. He looks a lot better. Shockwave is still the best out of all the ones I've had, but he's definitely a lot nicer. So looking at the details, the head here, if we go ahead and remove the helmet, get you guys a better look, you can see he has a visor and a mouth plate, much like the G1 Grimlock. It's done in a nice dark gray, and with the red visor, kind of gives him like a Transformers animated Grimlock kind of look. And then the helmet's kind of just the generic horned one, but it does kind of emulate his G1 head a little bit. So that's a decent likeness to him. And the chest definitely goes for G1 Grimlock in all the detail. The little pieces on the shoulders, I'm not quite sure what they were going for. The little circular pieces kind of make me think of Fall Cybertron Grimlock. So you might have a few influences from that, but it does still look alright. I do like the detail. These are stickers. The only details that are already on are the chest and the face. The other details, such as the shoulders and the, what was it? The little pieces here on the side of the legs are stickers you have to apply yourself. The only thing is he does kind of a weird, like, lanky proportion going on with how small the chest is. It does make, I know Grimlock's meant to be big and bulky, but with the big bulky shoulders and legs and then just really tiny chest, it does give him a very odd look. It reminds me a lot of Titan's Return Mind Wipe, where his chest looks a little too small for all of his limbs and his head. But otherwise, he is a decent looking Grimlock. I do still like he can actually have the claws out, or you could have him put away, whichever you prefer. And if you want, you can even kind of give him the sideways elbow thing and kind of pretend he has like a claw hand if you want. And it does look pretty nice. It does give him like a rather fearsome looking arm. But you are meant to kind of just keep it like this. Articulation wise, it is the same as most of the air battle changers. The head can rotate if you don't get the helmet, but you can rotate the head around as long as you can get going in the helmet or take the helmet off. As mentioned before, ball jointed shoulder, so it can do full forward and back. It can go outward. Same for the elbows, you do get ball jointed, so it can swivel all the way around and can come forward and go back. Hands don't do anything, but the claws do move, as I mentioned on the hinge. You do get a waist, which is pretty nice. Oh, it'll start coming unpegged, but you can swivel it. Legs are ball jointed, so go that far forward. Can go all the way back, can go outward. Knees are also ball jointed, but can be a little tricky with the knee guard, but you can swivel, you can get a 90-degree hinge going. And the feet are also on a hinge, so you can get him like stepping forward if you want, but that might happen. It's either the hinge is going to pop apart or the piece just comes unpegged altogether. These are not very solid figures. I get in order to fit the transformation, they have to be very thin, very gangly, very not a lot of parts holding everything together, but these figures do pop apart very easily. Now the going price for these guys are about 15 to 20 bucks on eBay. That is just a little over what I would say to get it for. If you can find it at Walgreens or dollar store where they are on discount, I would go for that. I've seen them go for 10 bucks at Walgreens. I've seen them for $6 at Dollar General. So if you're gonna get these figures, try to find them at one of those two stores where they're a much lower, much more decent price. You can still get them new in the box like that. And the eBay, it's just, I'm not saying $15 is too much to ask, but for how much these figures fall apart and how much they're just kind of more based on better figures, really the only one that really feels unique to me is Shockwave so far. I have not messed around with like Optimus or any other ones, but from the 4 I've messed with, they're not really worth the price. Grimlock here is definitely one of the nicer ones. He's definitely a much, much better improvement over Soundwave and Ironhide and Megatron, but he's still not a great figure. Even Shockwave I would not call a great figure. He's still just a good figure. But overall, I cannot call him a bad figure either. I can't say he's not worth picking up at all or worth overlooking. Just try to get him at a much more discounted prices if you can. So, this has been Nerd Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review and hope you have a good day. Take care.